Hello, my name is Richard Lund. Well, I'm here to explain a little bit about vitamin K2, which is also called menaquinone. And there are, I think, 3 or 4 different forms of that, depending on which substrate the bacteria is grown on that gives off the fermentation product. Usually they'll be abbreviated like MK4 or MK7. Sometimes in the literature you'll see MK8 or 9. But I'm focusing on MK7 because that's what this stuff makes. This is a product from Japan. It's called Mito Nawaji Natto, N-A-T-T-O. So you've got natto in Europe, or maybe not for long. You've got natto from Japan, and the natto from Japan will help you. I'm not sure about natto, maybe so. So they comes in a little tray, and it's frozen, so you need to take it and put it in your refrigerator overnight so it thaws out. And I'm going to see if I can open this up. It has a secret code. No, it doesn't really. It has a way to get into it where you kind of bust it open. And I'll just bust it open. Now, of course, this particular product, which I tasted yesterday, so I actually kind of like it. It comes with a teeny little packet of mustard and a teeny little packet of what I presume to be, since I don't read Japanese, I'm going to call it soy sauce. So, and then in here are the fermented soybeans. So there's a piece of plastic on it, and they have strings on the soybeans. The strings are good for you. That's where you're going to find the special off-putting of the bacteria. That's called the whole food is called natto, but the bacteria give us they call it the vitamin K2. So it is an oil-soluble vitamin, the vitamin K1, which comes in many things like green onions and lots of green vegetables. The usual suspects that are all healthy also usually have vitamin K1. So if you're getting that, but you're not getting this except through the bacteria in your gut if you eat a plant-based diet. I eat a plant-based diet. So I don't actually have, the egg yolks and the chicken livers and the chicken legs and stuff that some people eat. At least not very often, maybe, once or twice a year. So I probably need some source of this, and I could take a supplement, but you know what? Supplements are boring. And also supplements, just in my view, if you can get it in food, that's a good way to go. So this particular food has way more than any other food. This has, close to 1,000 units instead of maybe 20 or 30 or 50 in a serving. So when you eat this once a day, you're covered. So the main thing is to get this out of this container, kind of stirring it around. I'm going to add it to my rice. I warmed up some rice that I cooked the other day. So see how it has these cool things, and it just tricky. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to take that, but before I start mixing it all up, because that's the best way to do it, I'm going to see if I can open up the mustard. I was successful, and I'm going to squeeze the mustard out. Hey, there you go. And then I'm going to take the soy and sprinkle that around. Now, prepared ahead of time, I have green onions that are cut up, the kind that I like in my food, my salad, and I cut up some little dill pickles. So I'm not sure. I have been to a home where Japanese people live in the United States, and they sometimes mix things like this, little pickles or little onions and things. And this is called daikon radish, which is a great big, it's like an extra supersized carrot size. If you had an extra huge carrot, you'd find that, but it would be white. And you just grate it. So I took the daikon radish, and that also is kind of a nice flavor, and I'm going to mix that together. So I have a huge pile of food here from these various sources. Now, when I was trying to learn about natto, because it has an unusual flavor, what I needed to do is I needed to continue reading about the flavor, because number one, if you get a frozen prepared thing that's been sitting around, maybe made in Japan and shipped over here, and it's been waiting a while to be purchased from the supermarket, it could be a stronger flavor. But when I tasted this one the other day, it wasn't too bad. I have read and heard that if you have a freshly prepared natto, that the flavor is milder. But the key thing about the flavor is it has a flavor in it. First of all, they say, well, it's similar to the flavor of Limburger cheese. Now, nobody that I've ever met in my life likes Limburger cheese. There might be somebody that does, but nobody. But they also said cheddar cheese. Well, where I grew up, Longhorn cheddar was like part of our daily life. So I think because I was thinking about cheddar instead of thinking about Limburger, I did better. Anyway, I want to encourage you to try it if you wish. And you can leave comments, please be nice. If you want to subscribe to my channel, who knows, you'll probably end up learning some more stuff about something else. And it'll be good. Now, the other thing about any kind of a meal where you're having a carbohydrate, now I have my brown rice here, and the brown rice is a carbohydrate, and of course it converts eventually to glucose because it has a lot of starch in it. Now, some people say, well, we don't want to get our glucose too high in our bodies, in our bloodstream. And maybe that's fair. How can you control that? Well, one thing you can do is to eat beans and legumes. And so this is a tiny little soybean. And that is a secret. If you want to eat beans with your rice, it'll keep the glycemic response, the raise in the glucose, it'll keep it lower. And there's a second meal effect, where it not only keeps it lower for this meal, but it also keeps it lower for the next meal. And it's been suggested that the reason for that is that it's still in your body, and it's still being digested down in your colon, and so whatever it has in it that helps mitigate blood glucose levels, it's still working. So that's the idea, and that's one reason to have beans. You could eat them 3 times a day or 4 times a day, but I probably end up getting them once or twice. That's it for now. Richard Lund signing off, saying, may you have a healthy 100 years, may you live a healthy 100 years, and enjoy them all.